Welcome to another episode of Piecing It Together, the podcast where we take a look at a new movie and try to figure out what movies inspired it. And today on the show, we are live from downtown cinemas talking about Heart Eyes, the new horror slasher romantic comedy mix-up. It's a fun time, really, and we had a good time with this one. Joining me, I've got a returning trio of guests with Michael Keene, Tia Bean, and William-Patrick Coleman. Their fourth time as this group of panelists, and it's really fun getting them all back, and we had a great time over there at Downtown Cinemas. So that's coming up here in a second. Before we get to it, I do want to remind you, as always, to make sure you are subscribed to Piecing It Together wherever you listen to podcasts. You can follow us on social media at Piecing Pod, and don't forget to join our Facebook group, Popcorn and Puzzle Pieces, where we continue the conversation about all the movies we talk about here on the show. And with that said, let's get into our live conversation about Heart Eyes.
Baby, baby. Bow, bow, bow.
We have a soundtrack to this episode.
Heart Eyes, baby.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. It did have a really good soundtrack. Yeah, I was into it.
David Gray was in there.
Yeah, everything that you would want from a 2000s rom-com. But I'm David Rosen, the host of the Piecing It Together podcast. We're here to talk about Heart Eyes, which we all just watched. And before we get into it, I do want to introduce my guests here. So first up, Tia Bean, tell everybody about yourself.
Hi, I'm Tia. I'm a local actress, aspiring B horror movie actress. So this is kind of perfect for me. Also, I'm a podcaster. My weird little podcast. You can find my archive of true crime, cryptids, weird stuff, anywhere you find podcasts.
Awesome.
That's
me. Happy to have you back on the show, Tia. Michael Keene up next there. How's it going, Michael?
Oh, it's going just dandy.
Awesome. That's what I like to hear. Tell everybody about yourself.
I'm Michael Keene, and I make movies. You can find my film, The Head, on the internet and also on Blu-ray from TerrorVision.
That's where movies usually are, on Blu-ray and on the internet.
Yeah.
All right, that's good. That's good. William-Patrick Coleman also back with us. How you doing, William?
Yeah, great to be back. My name's William-Patrick Coleman. You can find me on my internet show, FilmBuff, or FilmBuff Show. I'm all over the place with sketch comedy and celebrity interviews and things like that. And so I'm very, very excited to be here again with you guys, you wonderful people, on Valentine's episode. Really, this is your Valentine's episode officially.
It's full of love, this whole panel.
David loves us so
I
much.
do. I absolutely do. This panel that we have here, this is our third time, or is it our fourth time? Fourth time having this exact panel together. So excited to have all you guys back. This is great.
Thanks.
But going into Heart Eyes, I was really excited about this one. I just thought it seemed like a fun concept, kind of blending rom-com with a slasher horror. It's just a great idea. And Josh Ruben's a really funny dude, and I always love seeing all of his Instagram stuff and stuff like that. So I was really hopeful for this, and it was actually better than I was expecting. I really had a fun time with it. But we're going to get into the movie a whole bunch here. The main thing, for anyone who hasn't heard Piecing It Together before, the main thing is we talk about a movie through the lens of what might have inspired it. We call those things puzzle pieces. And so we're going to go around, bring up some puzzle pieces, some movies that might have inspired Heart Eyes, and that's how we'll get into the conversation here. I feel like there's a lot of obvious ones we could kick it off with, but I'm just going to start with Scream. As far as, first of all, a very self-referential slasher that knows exactly what it is. It's playing with all of the tropes. There's lots of TV news reporters going on about everything that's happening in the town and all the kills and all that stuff. There's, of course, as we get into the end of the movie, of course, spoiler alert, but multiple killers, which is a touchstone of every Scream movie. We also have some casting that goes back to some Scream movies. I like this better than any of the recent Scream movies, I'll tell you that much. What do you guys think of this as far as Scream as a piece here?
I actually had that as one of my pieces.
Yeah.
With the trope, the villain reveals himself, is what I wrote down.
Sure, it gives his whole spiel and everything.
They have to have a whole monologue, and also the villains being lovers.
Yeah.
In this, where in Scream, they weren't. Well, yeah.
Kind of. Yeah.
If you read between the lines,
sure,
they definitely had some something going on there. So
Sexual tension.
There was a little bit of that tension.
100%.
Yeah, yeah. I was also thinking, obviously they're trying to do the whole red herring thing, and like everybody could be the killer at any point. And like I thought it was boyfriend, I thought it was the love interest, I thought it was like all different kinds of people, different cops, and everybody could have been at some point. And they keep like playing with you in that same way. So that all fits really well in the Scream vein there. But I don't know. Let's go to another one. Tia, what do you have for your first one?
Absolutely. So I think this is like my strongest piece and probably what inspired this entire genre. It's actually two pieces, but it all goes back to the same urban legend, which is the urban legend of the Hook.
Okay.
Which actually came out in 1960 in a Dear Abby advice column. And it was based on several murders, but most strongly the Texarkana murders of 1946, which was like Lover's Lane murder. But that's my piece, is the movie Lover's Lane, which came out in 2000. And also the town that dreaded sundown, which was based on the Texarkana murders. But definitely like that whole trope of like whenever couples have like intimacy in a movie, like you can't, like they even say that in Scream, like you can't have sex in a horror movie because you're gonna die. And that kind of started this whole like genre of like Valentine's Day, Lover's Lane type mass stalker, like killing
Absolutely.
these couples. So,
I'm so glad you're bringing this one up because, first of all, I knew, with your background and like, all these true story horror things, you would have something on it. But as I was walking to the bathroom after the movie, I was like Googling, I was like, who is the killer that killed couples? Like I know that was a thing.
I mean, there's several throughout history and everything, but like this one was probably the one that like started that whole urban legend, which is like obviously like a warning story of like, don't go to Lover's Lane, and it's definitely targeting women, not to be, promiscuous or anything. Like that's definitely like what Dear Abby intended with her story.
Sure.
And fear mongering and all that. So yeah.
I haven't seen the movie. Have either of you guys seen the movie Lover's Lane?
Yes.
No.
Yeah,
you like that one though? It was a good.
I watched the whole movie and I was like, this main chick or like one of the chicks is so pretty. She looks so much like Anna Faris. Like, how does she look so much like Anna? It's Anna Faris. Because it was Anna Faris in the movie the whole time.
Yeah.
So.
You said that came out in the early 2000s. This movie feels like it would have been right at home in the early 2000s, right in that same era. So yeah, for sure. Michael, let's go to one from you.
So this one, let me spin you a tale here.
Ooh.
I saw this movie twice now.
Okay.
I did cheat by accident. I had to write an article for Screen Rant. It was the whole thing. First time through, I was so pumped for about half the movie because I had the perfect puzzle piece.
Okay.
And I nailed it. I nailed it so hard. It was based on the fact that the characters are constantly riffing with each other, and they're going back and forth really fast and very humorously. And that movie was His Girl Friday.
Sure.
And starring Cary Grant. And then the drive-in sequence occurs.
Yeah.
And His Girl Friday is fucking playing.
We love it when a puzzle piece actually gets referenced. Why not? It's fun.
So, I guess His Girl fucking Friday.
Yeah,
I was so vindicated and so mad at the same time.
Well, I mean, there's been so many examples of that. Like, remember just a few years ago, Jordan Peele's Us? Like, there was a TV, and sitting around the TV was VHS tapes of all the movies that clearly inspired Us. And it was like, yeah, why not? That's fun. It's fun little Easter eggs and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's fun, I guess, but I didn't get to be Mr. Smarty Pants.
Well, you're still Mr. Smarty Pants to me, but yeah, His Girl Friday, great piece to include here. William, let's go to one from you.
Around 96 when Scream did come out, it inspired several of these kind of new little horror movies. I thought they had like the Scream magic in the late 90s and the early 2000s, and I can't believe nobody got, I'm going to say Valentine.
Yeah.
This is one of them. And I know that was something that Mike and I had gone back and forth on, but I can't get around it. The hope that it might have had to be, we're indifferent on this opinion. I don't like Valentine at all.
I think Valentine fucking rules.
And I watched it recently, and I don't think that I've changed my stance at all whatsoever. I don't think I'll ever watch it again. But Hard Eyes, it does it very much grab this same feeling that those movies tried to do. Sometimes they did really well because Jamie Blanks did Valentine, but he also did Urban Legend. I love Urban Legend, but all these movies kind of came out around a lot of them didn't succeed as well. But that's what it felt like. It definitely was a throwback to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm for it. Like it's well welcomed. I think it would have fit right around
See, I
those
think
times.
Valentine is such a superior film to this.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's wow.
I feel like I don't remember if I actually saw Valentine, but in that, like you're saying, in that aftermath of Scream and
Yeah.
all of those like
You got a
dimension
dime a
horror and
dozen
all
of
that,
them.
like
there's every 2 weeks they were coming
yeah,
out. So you didn't
constantly,
know.
and I'm sure I saw every single one of them at the
Yeah.
time, so I probably saw it. But since Michael loves it so much,
Well,
and
it's-
since
I
you
mean,
hate it so much, I want to see where it comes in the middle.
It's a world to revisit, that's for sure. But I wish more from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really appreciate the sort of giallo overtones in Valentine,
I mean,
personally.
this didn't have giallo stuff, but
yeah, no, it didn't.
No.
It could have used a few things.
it still looked better than I was expecting it to. I
Yeah,
thought
it
it was
did
going to
look
be
good,
just a
yeah.
very kind of just basic, like forgettable horror comedy, and it looked good. It had a great score, I thought,
I
and
thought it was way too dark. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills here.
well, there were definitely moments that were too dark, but they kind of like almost make a case for it this time around because of his whole shtick with the light up eyes and stuff.
Well, yeah,
which
but he only uses it once.
he should have used it way more. It would have been
yeah,
super cool.
I will.
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about it, that's actually more of a flaw than I really considered. Yeah, he should have been using those eyes like every other scene because every other scene is dark as fuck.
Yeah, there was a lot of flashlights.
They're
so.
just waiting for the sequel.
Yeah,
it'll
in the
be,
sequel.
It'll be overused.
Yeah.
In part 2.
Yeah. I'd watch part 2. I'm going to actually move away from horror for a minute for my next piece here because this movie is as much a romantic comedy as it is a horror movie. And I'm going to go with They Came Together, the David Wayne parody. This movie stops short of being a straight-up parody, but it is a satire on all of the classic tropes, not just of horror movies, but of romantic comedies. And so this gets into every one of those little things that we know. And, of course, there's that great sequence towards the end where the girl's kind of like stringing together every title of every romantic comedy. And, like, all of those movies are represented here in a scene or two. Like there's all of them have like little bits and pieces, and They Came Together is super hilarious and fits in so many of those tropes from every rom-com that we've ever seen and just skewers them in super silly, ridiculous ways, and it's really fun.
I also feel like the trying on clothes montage, which I love any movie that has like a fashion show montage. Great, which is a trope in itself.
Sure.
But I feel like some of the outfits were references to
Probably.
rom-coms because I caught Clueless and I also caught Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion, like the two metallic outfits that they had. I don't know, like I feel like it was, but I wasn't entirely sure if that's what they were going for because I didn't recognize the other two.
Yeah,
But
I wouldn't be surprised. I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised, and yeah, because a lot of that stuff, if you're a rom-com fan, you probably would pick at least one or two of them and like catch them like you did, and maybe the other ones are from some other rom-coms that we're just not remembering.
Maybe like what is it, like 27 Dresses?
Sure.
Or, yeah, maybe I'm not sure. But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, right on. You guys fans of They Came Together over here?
I loved They Came Together.
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
Oh, it's very funny.
I think I saw it.
I need to rewatch it. I haven't seen it in a while. I mean, I love David Wayne and everything he does, but I've only seen that one once. And so.
Yeah, I think it's what? It's Amy Poehler and Paul Rudd?
Paul Rudd.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I did see it.
Yeah,
good.
it's very fun. Well, right on. Let's go to another one from Tia.
I don't know. Okay. I feel like I'm repeating myself, but the opening scene reminded me of another true crime situation with the Lake Berryessa murder, which was possibly a Zodiac murder.
Okay.
And it is a scene which was actually done pretty accurately in the Zodiac movie, even though they got like a few things not so accurate, where this couple is at a picnic and this masked man approaches them and ties them up, and then he ends up killing them. And one of them survives, and that's how they know like he was wearing a mask and
Sure.
everything. But I feel like that description from the actual crime and then, you know, being depicted in several movies that crime inspired later on, like definitely inspired like the look of not only this character, but like, now I'm going to list a bunch of movies and like ruin all of your pieces. But like I'm just going to say it, My Bloody Valentine, which is like an obvious piece here. Sorry.
Rats.
But like, you know, like the like sack over the face, masked killer, like look, I'm not going to name any other of those films, but we know several. But yeah, I felt like Zodiac, the murder, but also I guess it could be a piece because it's a great movie too.
Yeah, absolutely. It was one that I was thinking about as well. So you stole My Bloody Valentine from both of them, but
Yep,
Zodiac
sorry.
for me. So
It's obvious,
yeah,
so.
yeah, exactly. It works really well here.
You might have stolen My Bloody Valentine, but you didn't steal My Bloody Valentine 3D.
Ooh.
The remake, of course, of My Bloody Valentine, 1981, I believe, is the original, and I don't remember when the fuck the remake came out, but very similar in so much as both, if I remember and this is me having to remember my theatrical experience with My Bloody Valentine 3D, but I remember...
Which I just watched last night.
Does it cheat at all with the killer reveal? Like, does it...
Yeah.
It cheats? Yeah.
Yeah, well, to me, one of those things is are they self-aware or are they crazy? So once you kind of answer that, you know what kind of movie you have, and he was crazy.
Yeah. So I noticed this run through of the film, of this film rather. What the fuck did we just watch?
Heck. Yeah. That's it.
Hard Eyes. There's a lot of cheating as far as the reveal of the killer goes. It
Police
doesn't.
station is one of those things.
Not even the police. Just how the fuck did they know where she lives? How did they get
You're
it?
asking too many questions.
I think
what
so.
what I realized.
Well, one
this,
of them's a cop.
What I realized this way.
there you
Well,
go.
yeah, but like they only changed their plan. Spoilers for this movie that you're listening to a podcast about. They changed their plan at the restaurant when they see the other. They're going after the other couple. They see this couple.
Oh.
And then they immediately change their plan and they follow them and somehow gain access to her apartment before they do.
yeah, how did
There's
you
no
get in the
way for
You're
them
closet?
to-
right. She's right. You're thinking.
I don't
about
think
it
I'm
way too
overthinking
much,
it.
yeah.
I think that this is something
You can't
could-
have fun if you
This is
think
a
that's
stage.
all.
This is a stage one rewrite you have here.
What, you show him breaking in or what?
No, you just need some reasoning
to
why.
explain how she would know where
How
she lives.
dare there be a plot hole in
Terrible.
this movie?
Unbelievable. I
That's
can't
your
believe it.
problem with the movie.
I think you basically just can't have her in the closet. I think that's basically how that turns out. I think it's a pretty big plot hole. Maybe I'm crazy.
Eh.
But
It's going to be explained in the
anyway,
sequel.
Yeah, it will be in
Point
the
is,
sequel, yeah.
My Bloody Valentine 3D,
Yeah.
super bloody, gory interpretation of a slasher.
It's
Also,
really good.
One of the
Valentine.
best, like, later remakes of a classic horror movie, I think.
and far superior lighting to this film.
Well,
Oh yeah,
it was a good
Absolutely,
era
I can
in
attest
lighting.
to that.
Yeah.
I was just watching. They're
Like
lighting
you
in
want
the dark.
you want to light some night scenes? My Bloody Valentine 3D, baby.
The kill that was in all the trailers in the car at the drive-in, that should have been in 3D. That would have been a fun sequence in 3D. I
Yeah.
think.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been cool. But William, let's go to another one from you.
I was prepared for somebody to take My Bloody Valentine, although that was my next one. I wanted to go for a much more recent one. Is anybody seen Companion yet?
I just saw it the other
So
day.
Companion, very good movie, but again, it's a low-key horror about couples. And I thought that was kind of an interesting comparison, that sometimes we get these movies and they're single people running around in a Valentine's Day movie getting murdered or whatnot, and this one is specific to it being couples. But Companion was one of the ones recently that to do the same thing about couples, and definitely the less you know about that movie, the better experience you will have.
Yeah.
But it's really good. It's a really good, clever movie that's out there that people should be seeing.
Everybody should go see it, although I will say that I think I'm the only person on the planet who didn't like it.
Really?
Yeah, but maybe it's because it was spoiled for me and, like, I knew everything from the trailer and the poster, and I was just like, I don't know, at this point.
I kind of knew too, but that black humor, the dark humor, really
Yeah.
I love that stuff.
Right on, right on. But yeah, as far as like couples in horror
Yeah.
and like the dynamics of all that, I think it's a good, they're companion pieces
Yeah.
quite well. So, I will, since all of my horror ones have been taken so far, I'm going to go to another romantic comedy, a meta romantic comedy, kind of like with They Came Together. Isn't It Romantic with Rebel Wilson? She's like somebody who hates love, hates Valentine's Day, and hates
yeah,
rom-coms,
yeah.
and then basically finds herself in one. And it's definitely much more meta kind of thing than what's going on here. But the idea that she ends up, in the thing that she's so kind of railing against from the get-go, this just kind of made me think of that a little bit. I didn't really like that movie necessarily, but it's a cute idea though to take somebody who is just so anti the thing that the movie they're about to be in is exactly that. It's a great setup for a movie and some fun jokes. Any fans of that one on this panel?
I've never seen that.
I feel like I should see that, and I would really like it. But,
Yeah, it's meta fun is always fun. I'm always in for meta. So, all right, let's go to one more from Tia.
Okay. I'm gonna go with The Prowler from
Okay.
1981. Okay, crickets.
Solid film.
Okay, cool, sweet. But yeah, mostly because it's another one of those masked killers killing couples.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And his look is very much, I feel, a ripoff of the look of the miner in My Bloody Valentine, but he's supposed to be like a World War II like soldier, and there's a twist at the end. I'll probably spoil it because it came out in 1981. You probably had plenty of time to see it by now. But it's like it is the cop at the end too that you think is like against. He's like kind of mad at all the lovers, for causing like a ruckus and everything. But you find out that it's actually like the sheriff all along.
Sure.
So
Sure.
yeah, I felt like it was a pretty good piece, but
I feel like a lot of these movies, the cop ends up being the killer. Am I imagining that? Everything post Scream, there's like a lot of that, but I don't know. It fits well, so
Yeah.
Yeah, Scream 6.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Scream 6 was the cop.
Yeah,
But it's really the fastest way to explain how they got all this information.
sure.
That's usually why they do it.
Yeah.
But they don't know better than to hide it better, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
If there's two cops, there's a great chance one of them is either going to die or is the killer.
Yeah.
I
Good
liked-
cop, bad cop, but it's a really bad
they're
cop.
not going to have
Yeah.
two cops there for no reason.
I liked in this movie that one of the cops wasn't both the cops. It was one, the bad cop was actually the good guy, and
Sure.
the good cop was actually like the killer all along.
Yeah.
Spoiled the movie a bit more, but it's all
Yeah.
good.
I mean, you gotta at this point. But Michael, let's go to one more from you.
Okay, I don't have anything else because I don't know. I raw dogged this one and I raw dogged Too Close to the Sun, and I couldn't come up with anything. But I had a patron of mine message me about the film, and they said The Bone Collector.
Okay.
Because there's a very similar twist to The Bone Collector. To quote them, then they did the Bone Collector twist, where a completely random character shows up in an otherwise small cast, so I suspected two killers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. As soon as like one new character just shows up out of the blue, it doesn't really necessarily need to be there. It's like, oh, okay, maybe we got our killer.
Yeah, and I'll grant the movie this. I did not figure David because I immediately, the second he was out of the movie, completely forgot about him.
Yeah.
I should have clocked it. That's on me.
Yeah.
Clocked Brewster. Brewster was easy.
Yeah. Well, Hobbs and Shaw, it's just
I didn't see
amazing.
Brewster
bit
happening
there.
without Sawa. Like, I figure you cast them both for a reason.
Oh, as soon as, I had my suspicions, but as soon as they don't show her die, come on.
That's true.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, as soon as they hear her shooting at him, but you don't see a fucking single shot go off, and that's the last you see of her until she shows up at the drive-in.
Yeah.
Well, that's a killer.
Yeah.
That's just
makes
killer
sense.
behavior. You do that, you get auto arrested.
I mean, I might be really simple, but I totally fell for the fake out ending at the airport. And I was like, wow, this is a really short movie. But I was like, I love this movie. I was so into it that I was like, yes, awesome. There's going to be this like end airport scene and like this kiss and everything. And then when there was like more movie, I was like so excited.
Yeah, hell yeah, we're getting more for our money here.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go for one more from William.
There was a lot I was thinking of back and forth. I know what you did last summer, or things like that. But I wanted to take it and connect it to Scream 2 more than Scream 1, because the killers are boy girl killers. Also, the guy's name, the killer in this
David.
one, David. Was he only in one? Am I crazy?
Yeah, he's only in
Right.
one scene.
One scene.
Okay, that's much like what they did with Timothy Olyphant in Scream 2. That's absolutely what they did. They showed him for the first 40 minutes of the movie, and then he disappears the rest of the movie. And next time you see him, he's taking the ghost face color. They make you forget that he exists, and that's the only way he could be everywhere, because he's in the killer out. But anyways, I saw a lot more Scream 2 than Scream 1. But also, I know what you did last summer, things like that, because what's interesting about this horror movie is that the Hard Eyes Killer had been around for a while.
Sure.
So we're coming into the middle of this. Well, it's been years and years and years we've had this folklore, our own like serial killer for Valentine's Day, and so I feel it's associated with those kind of movies in that way.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That is it's a cool like kind of little bit to like have something where it's like everybody in the movie already knows, they're very aware, they know that there's a killer out there and that
like,
he's going to be coming
with
back.
Scream 2, Laurie Metcalf is in this movie with a bunch of teenagers who are playing college students or whatnot. Why would you have Laurie Metcalf in this movie?
Sure.
Unless she was the killer.
Yeah.
I kind of feel the same way with Jordana Brewster. although I really thought that the Devon Sawa, I thought it was a package deal. I didn't see one being one without the other, but
Yeah.
they really used Devon Sawa to their advantage.
They sure did. Absolutely. Well, I want to open it up to the floor, see if we've got any puzzle pieces out here. Did anybody think of anything? We got one right here.
I got three.
Three puzzle
Nice.
pieces back to back. I got my notepad ready.
Okay, first one, Eli Roth's Thanksgiving.
I thought to mention that, yeah.
And there for a lot of different reasons, including the reveal of the police officer at the end. But mainly the fact that you've got this whole town that's expecting this killer to show up, and they're all on social media on their phones talking about it and putting that into real time, along with the news clips and so forth. So that was pretty much lifted from there. The second and third one are both from the drive-in sequence. When the killer is standing there with the skyline of Seattle behind him in the darkness, very much Jason Takes Manhattan.
Okay, I was wondering if we'd be able to get Jason into this at some point. I mean,
He was holding the big long knife, and the buildings behind. I was like, that was straight from Jason Takes Manhattan. Third one, when they're walking towards all the chaos and all that, and a Casey and the Sunshine Band song comes on. They did the same thing in the original Kingsman with the Casey and the Sunshine Band song playing while Colin Firth is going bananas, slaughtering everybody inside the church.
Okay. I guess they fit really well for just pure mayhem. That's always a good choice. Yeah, some good ones there. And also, I will say we did a live show on Thanksgiving here back when that came out, and I feel like maybe like a third of these puzzle pieces came up on that episode. So a lot of similar ideas going around in recent horror. So, but that movie also was like better than I really expected it to be. I don't know. I had fun with that.
A lot.
Yeah. Any others from the crowd? Anybody else got anything? Anybody got anything? We got one right here.
I just want to get like a few out of the way.
All right.
Like urban legend, Freddy versus Jason. The sequence at the drive-in is a lot like the cornfield.
Sure.
The faculty, of course, when Hard Eyes stabs through the door, when they like lock them inside, and they look over at each other, it's like when Jordana Brewster and anyway, they're hiding in the faculty
Wood.
lounge. Yeah.
Elijah Wood. Yeah.
Elijah Wood. They were hiding in the faculty lounge, and he like sniffs her hair or something. And she's like, "Are you serious?" It's kind of like that. But I did want to go back to the reason that Hard Eyes was able to get into the apartment is your shirt.
Oh, Halloween.
Yeah, when they come into the apartment, it's frantic because the bleeding. They leave the door open. They both go into the bathroom. The the glass is broken downstairs, just followed him upstairs, went into the apartment. And at the police station, the IT guy walks out after being under the desk, all the power goes out. So those were the clues.
There you go. This is a lot tighter than we're giving it credit for, I feel like, here.
I mean, I still maintain that it doesn't make a whole lot of fucking sense, but
Maybe.
And the extra killer, the meta narrative behind Halloween is they had a really small crew, and Deborah Hill stepped in a few times to be the shape. So, like, standing in the middle of the road. Even though she's a lot shorter at a distance, that's her in the street. That's her with the mask on. That's the...
So we got some meta puzzle pieces in there as well. I like it.
Actually a lot smarter than I expected.
There you go. And I just want to say, to back it up to Freddy vs. Jason, I was trying to think of a good one for that, for the, just like leading the killer into just a slaughter fest. And that is a great example of that. So I think that
in the
fits.
police station, Terminator.
Terminator?
Oh, that's a good one.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Any others from the crowd? Anything else? Anybody have anything that we didn't bring up yet? Going once, going twice. Well, then I think we'll get into some closing thoughts here. Tia, anything you want to mention?
I love this movie. It was like everything I could want. Like, I love campy horror, comedy. I love rom-coms that are really cheeseball. And I love violence in movies. I love gore. I love really good, gory effects. So this was like everything, and, cute little hearts in all the scenes and everything, too. Like, I thought the aesthetic was great.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like it was too dark, but, that's just unexperienced me speaking. But, but hey, for me, as just being like an audience rando person, I loved it. So, yeah.
Yeah, and to the gore, we didn't really talk about the kills specifically, but I thought, even though any horror movie, I would think, there should be more, but the ones that were there were pretty damn good. There was some inventive stuff.
The van scene.
Yeah.
And, like, anytime you can see through someone's wound is so cool.
I'm in. I'm in.
Yeah.
So, right on, Michael. How about you?
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I do think it's too dark. The color grade is just kind of abysmal, but it's got a fun romantic comedy edge to it. I like the mix of the two genres. I don't know that it always works, but it worked enough thanks to their chemistry. Mason Gooding is absolute star in the making.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then was it Olivia Scott? Is that her name?
Olivia something. Olivia Holt.
Holt.
Yeah.
Holt. Olivia Holt. Pretty good job too.
Yeah.
So
she sold a lot of the comedy, so I mean, she was
Yeah.
really good at that. I'd like to see her in something like straight up funny,
Yeah, I agree. I'd like to see more both of them. It was a little obvious in some respects, although again, didn't see David coming. And yeah, I would say it's a little too stupid. That's it. But that's not necessarily a terrible thing. It's just it's a little too stupid.
Nah. All right. How about you, William?
I've been emotionally connected to these kind of movies since the late 90s and early 2000s, and even when they're bad, they're good. And I wouldn't say that this is a bad movie at all. I had an entertaining time. I think when I saw the trailer, I wasn't impressed with it at all, and then I had read reviews that were surprisingly supportive and said it was a very good, fun movie to check out. And right now, so far this year, we're getting pretty good hits. Like January's used to be nothing. Now we're getting One of Them Days, 1 week. We're getting Companion another week. We're getting Flight Risk another week. You know what I mean? But like this is what we're getting. I said that compared to Companion and Hard Eyes, we're looking forward to a pretty crazy year of movies. So we're getting some pretty good ones early on here. It's entertaining. It is entertaining. I'll give it that. I don't know that I would revisit it. I don't know if they come out with a sequel. They probably could. They have a good idea there to come
I'd love
back
to see
with
a
one.
sequel. I think.
Yeah, I would totally be down for it.
But there's also room for prequels now because they have a whole history you don't know about.
That's true.
But yeah, I like the movie. I support it.
Right on. Only other thing I wanted to mention, I actually had the director Josh Ruben on the podcast a few years ago for my Megan episode. So I was really hoping this would be good because I didn't want to feel like, oh, this
It
movie's
said he
terrible.
was in it.
Yeah, he's the director, and he was also in it too.
Yeah, but did you see him?
Yeah,
in it,
he
or-
was. He stepped out of a car and screamed, "Somebody call 911!" at the. Yeah,
Cool.
But yeah, no, he's great, and so I was really happy that I actually enjoyed his movie. So so that was the last thing I wanted to mention. But yeah, great fun this one was. So Tia, tell everybody where they can find you and everything you're up to.
You can find me here in Las Vegas. If you are a horror movie director, cast me in your film. I want to die in your movie. You can find my podcast, my Weird Little Podcast, or Hollywood's Haunted, the podcast, anywhere you listen to podcasts. I have a very long archive of episodes. Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Tia is the coolest, because I am. And yeah, that's it.
Right on. Michael, how about you?
You can find me at themanateeparty.com or go on YouTube and find The Manatee Party. That's manatee like the sea cow party.
Yeah, all right. Let's go to William. How about you?
Good. You can find me under FilmBuff_show on YouTube or pretty much anywhere else. Facebook, Instagram, all that, even Letterboxd. Looking into coming back doing some live streaming, but we'll make some announcements if we do that, and that should be coming up pretty soon. So yeah, that's where you can find me right now.
Right on. You can find Piecing It Together later this week, actually, at Maya Cinemas for Captain America Brave New World. That's on Thursday, February 13th. And then we'll be back here at Downtown Cinemas again soon. Can't quite announce it quite yet, but hopefully we'll be announcing that any day now. And everybody, thank you so much for being here, and thank you to Downtown Cinemas for having us, and that's our show.
We love you.
Thank you.
Come on, everybody.
Hi, this is Wax Trax Records here on 2909 South Decatur. We buy all your old 45s, your old albums, any type of music memorabilia. Also, we sell music memorabilia, albums, CDs, and a lot. Come on down to Wax Trax, 2909 South Decatur, or give me a call at 702-362-4300. Thank you very much.
All right, so I hope you enjoyed that conversation about Heart Eyes. Thank you so much to Downtown Cinemas for having us back. Thank you to Michael Keene, Tia Bean, and William-Patrick Coleman for doing the show. And thanks to everyone who showed up at the show. Really appreciate it. If you want to see me do more of these live shows, keep coming to them, and that way we could keep doing more of them. So also everybody at home, obviously, if you're not here in Las Vegas, thank you so much for just listening to the show. That also helps to make sure we can keep doing fun things like this. So yeah, thank you so much for listening. You can follow Piecing It Together on all the socials at Piecing Pod to find out what we've got coming up next. Also over on piecingpod.com, you can sign up for the mailing list. And that's where I also do all the enter to win contests for tickets for these live shows. So, go check that out as well. And I also have the Popcorn and Puzzle Pieces Facebook group where we continue the conversation about all the movies we talk about here on the show. It's a really fun community of movie lovers, and we'd love to have you if you're cool. I keep it closed, so it's only cool people in the group. So if you're cool, come join us over on Facebook in the Popcorn and Puzzle Pieces group. And yeah, that's good. That's enough plugs for today. Let's close this out with a piece of music like I always do. And this is a very kind of campy, over-the-top horror slasher movie, Heart Eyes is. And last year, I released a soundtrack for a very campy, over-the-top horror movie that I scored called Blind Malice, about a blind serial killer, and it's pretty crazy. You can watch it online now, and you can listen to the entire soundtrack album on any of the streaming services. And I'm going to play the main theme from Blind Malice right now. So that's what we're going out with. Hope you enjoy it, and we'll be back with more Piecing It Together real soon.
An All Points West production, produced by David Rosen in Las Vegas.